Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Advisory. Yes, I'm showing my face. I was told it might be a good thing to do. So here I am. It's me. So I decided to switch things up a little bit. This is an important topic, dealing with anxiety, right? It's a common feeling that everyone experiences at some time or another, right? And this lesson will teach you how anxiety shows up in you, right? Because we're all different. And we're going to give you so we have 3 lessons, and you're going to get some techniques. I'm going to talk about techniques about how to reduce and manage your feelings of anxiety. Again, all anxiety, everyone experiences anxiety. Some anxiety is good, right? That's kind of our body's way of warning us that there might be a potential danger. So it's actually kind of a preventative thing. It's the feelings that we feel is our body saying, oh, there's something to be aware of around you. So a little anxiety is good. Some of us experience more anxiety, right? To where it's maybe unmanageable. And we're kind of all on that spectrum, right? Somewhere along those lines. So we're going to kind of look at what it looks like for us and how we can cope. So some of the words here, these are all words that describe anxiety. So when I want you to, so we have stress, edginess, worry, jumpiness, nervousness, the shakes, uneasiness, dread, hyped up, uncertainty, fear, freaking out, agitation, uptight, butterflies, panic, antsy, restlessness. Okay, these are all different ways to describe anxiety. And so I want you to look at these words on the screen. Okay. The first step in managing anxiety or anything is the recognition, right? So I want you to take this time, look at this list, and take a minute and think about how your anxiety looks. Okay. So when you experience it, what does it feel like to you? Does it feel like the shakes? Does it feel like you're all hyped up? Okay. So take a second. I know we're doing like reflection in the middle of the lesson this time. We're just going to roll with it, right? So again, all of these words describe anxiety, but what does it mean to you? So for me, when I feel anxiety, I typically get very antsy, right? Like I can't sit still, and like I might be like tapping my foot or something, or like moving my fingers, snapping my fingers. I also get the shakes. So like say I'm about to have a presentation, I start to get like a little chilled, like I get a little cold, and like it's like a weird, like sweaty, cold feeling, right? And I'm just like kind of like, I get a little shaky. So that is kind of what comes up for me. What comes up for you? Can take a minute, pause the video. Okay. So just as there are many ways to describe anxiety, like we just talked about, there are also many reasons people can have like anxiety appears, right? So here we have situational and chemical anxiety. Okay. Situational is where something happens in our life that makes us feel anxious, right? I talked about a presentation, right? Before a presentation or like speaking in public, I get really nervous. This can be anything from a hard homework assignment to a natural disaster, right? So there's a broad range of things that can be considered situational, okay? In addition to that, we have chemical anxiety. So this is when a particular amount and movement of our brain chemicals are configured in such a way that cause the feeling of anxiety, okay? Like we are all products of our own environment, right? So if our parents are very anxious people, we're probably going to experience a little bit more anxiety than the person next to us, right? So sometimes there's that, it's like a chemical thing that we are just born with. So those are the difference. We have situational and chemical. So the good news is that whatever the cause, whether it's a situational or chemical anxiety, there are all steps that you can take to shift your anxiety from a higher to lower level. Okay. So even if it's chemical, we can fix that, right? If it's situational, we can cope with that. So we're going to talk about this more throughout these next couple lessons. So you've identified those words, right? I had you jot down those words, how anxiety feels to you, those words that resonate with you. Does it seem to be more situational? Like, do you feel anxiety because of what's going on around you? Or do you feel like you just naturally feel anxious? Is it more of a chemical thing? Or is it a combination of both? You could be innately an anxious person, and then things show up that add to that anxiety. Okay. So when anxiety is triggered by life situations, okay, so we're talking about that situational anxiety, we can learn to manage it both by working on what we can change, right? I talk a lot about like, what can you control? What can you not control? Okay. And working on how we think. Okay. Those are the ways we can change situational anxiety or work through that situational anxiety. So when it's triggered by our brain chemicals, we can learn to manage it by working through psychotherapy and self-help, right? Psychotherapy is just like talking to somebody. And same with self-help is like taking those steps beforehand, before you get very anxious. Self-help is like doing those things that help you cope in the moment. Like there's exercise, there's eating healthy, there's drinking water, right? There's meditating, there's yoga, there's all these things that you can maintain a better, like a baseline level where you're not like less anxious. And these things will help over time if you do a little each day, right? Okay, so talking to your counselor or someone you can trust can help you practice new ways to think about yourself, right? That helps with that, the perception, right? The negative self talk that we typically do. And this will actually form new neural pathways in your brain and affect your chemistry in a positive way. Okay, so with that said, I want you to take some time to reflect on what type of anxiety you typically experience. Okay, so everybody should be able to answer this because, again, everyone experiences some level of anxiety. So even if you don't consider yourself an anxious person, this is all of us. Okay. Again, you have those words. Think of those words: situational, chemical. Okay, so again, take some time, reflect, situational or chemical or both. Write in your journals, discuss as a class, whatever the teacher wants to do. Maybe the teacher wants to share how they feel when they're feeling anxious. So yeah. All right. Have a good day, everyone. See you next time.